And then, okay, it's recording. Great. All right, this is done. So you are able to share whatever you want, Barrett, now. And yeah, once again, while Barrett is presenting, he doesn't see us, unfortunately. So I will be his eyes and ears. So if someone wants to ask a question, Barrett, are you okay with us stopping you, or do you want us to hold on until you're done?
Feel free to use your discretion. So like, I'm happy to be on this call as long as you guys need. I'm in no rush. But if you think something like if I'm going off track or if something in that time would be useful, then feel free to interrupt me. And actually, I think it's great to kind of have this be like a bit of back and forth and a bit of dialogue. Like feel free to like, ask the questions that you think users would be asking so that we can answer them in context.
All right, so let's do it the usual way. You can either write the questions in the chat and then I will read them to Barrett, or if you want to raise your hand, you know where to do this, right? At the bottom of the menu in the middle, there's a hand there. And then, well, let's get started then. Everyone, Barrett, all the ladies were waiting for you. They didn't want to have the recorded version. They wanted to see you live, so you better deliver.
Well, unfortunately, work excellently under pressure. Okay, so I'm gonna do this in like 3 parts. One, I'll just introduce myself and introduce like Adalo and no code quickly. Then I'm gonna talk about actually like building app, building technology, like kind of like what it's about from my high altitude perspective of this call. Then we're actually gonna like live build an app together on the platform Adalo. Okay, so hi, I'm Barrett Nash. Some people in the world call me Barrett. Some people call me Nash. I haven't really decided what I'm going to go with in this context, but feel free to use either. And I am the partnership manager for Adalo. Adalo, which is a short for Ada Lovelace, the niece of Lord Percy Byron and was considered the world's first software developer, is it's a visual software development tool. And what it's really about is kind of realizing that, the action of making technology is really exclusive. It stops many people just because if you don't speak a coding language, like literally speak it, you're not able to make technology. And like myself, I almost kind of like reflect on it in like terms of like, when before the Bible was in a universal language, like, people could only communicate in like understand the Bible if it was reading Latin, and it's so exclusionary. And what's interesting is I actually have like quite a background in technology. I've run several technology startups, and what I knew is that like in your head, I think all of you guys, hopefully you have some ideas. You kind of know what you want to do. It's not your ideas that are often the limitation. It's the fact that you literally need to hold like JavaScript in your head if you're going to make anything. So Adalo's a little bit different. It's not a little bit different. It's actually a lot different. Our co-founders are actually coming from the design background, and what they were doing was they were making like high fidelity wireframe prototypes for their clients, and people were like looking at their prototypes on the phone, and they were actually like going like, wow, this is amazing. Is this actually the app? And it kind of got their brain working. So what Adalo has done is that instead of inputting commands for how you design your app through a textual interface, instead you actually use a visual interface that is very much actually like using like Adobe software. So if you've ever used like a Photoshop or Illustrator, it's very much like this. It's like drag and drop, it's building, it's layers. You don't start with an empty text interface. You start with an empty canvas and you fill out that canvas. So what we're going to do today is we're going to actually fill out the canvas. We're going to build an app together. I was thinking we could build Instagram, but I'm happy to frankly build just about any app under the sun. Adalo is really flexible, but I would say like an app like Instagram or Twitter or like TikTok or something is probably the easiest. But before we build anything, we actually have to think about what it is we want to build. So let's first choose an app. Which app should we build? Should we choose Instagram, which is an easy one for me and I've done it like a million times? Sorry, say it again, Greta.
Sorry. I said, is there a fashion app which we can build rather than...
Well, so like what I'd like is to build something that, Well, okay. So we've got like 45 minutes. We can design something together if you want to design a quick fashion app for what it would look like. Describe to me. So before I build, what I do is I do two things. I do a spec sheet, which is about like saying what is the features that the app needs to have. And then I do wireframes, which is like drawing out, like I do it really ugly. Here, I can show you my wireframe book so you can see what it looks like. So here's like some examples of like what my own wireframes look like. I know it's probably not clear, but you can just tell that I'm not exactly an artist. So because when you're actually building, you don't want to be sitting there going like, what is it do I want to build? Instead, you want to be thinking, okay, I know what I want, and I just need to translate this into what it is that I'm actually going to build. So if you want to do a fashion app, I'm fine with that, but then you have to describe to me what the core functionality is. And you've got to be able to describe to me very specifically what it needs to look like. And sure, we can do that, but then you're in the driver's seat. I'm not in the driver's seat. So I'm happy to be your hand if you want to instruct me, but are you ready, Greta?
Well, I am not ready. If you would ask me questions, I would give you answers. Otherwise, I don't even know what does the fashion app should have. So you have to tell me for me to think and then answer you, because I have no idea. Well, I might have an idea how I would like to look, what to have, but from the perspective of style and the colors and designs, but not the technical part, not the IT part. I don't know anything about IT. I don't have any technical skills.
Okay, well, let's see if we can create this jam here. Do you see this? Do you see it should be like a whiteboard opening up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Greta, could you? So we're going to do two parts to this. So one is going to be the database, and I'm going to fill this out. I'm going to do this from you. But can you guys actually draw on here? Or is it only me who's able to draw?
I can't access the link you shared with us. I can't go on it.
Okay.
I am on it. I'm not sure that we can edit anything.
Okay, well then let's not do that. My apologies. Let's do a tool that's just all, because then we can draw it together. Okay, I'm gonna then be a detective and we're going to get this fashion out. So first, Greta, could you give me like a one-sentence elevator pitch of what this fashion app should accomplish?
What should accomplish?
Yeah, like give me.
I don't understand the question.
Okay, so what I do need is for there to be like a driver in the driver's seat. So when you say fashion app, do you have an idea of a fashion app, like a fashion app idea that you'd like to see built and you want to talk about it? Okay, so tell me in like a single sentence or like, you know, as shortly as possible what your idea is, please.
I want to have sustainable fashion clothing for summer. So sustainable summer clothing.
Okay, got it. And when a user comes to the app, are they coming to the app to purchase the purchase things? Like, are you selling the clothes or making like awareness of the clothes?
I'm selling the clothes.
Okay, so what we need to have in the app is clothes that people can buy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so a very simple version of this app would be that somebody just opens up the app and sees articles of clothing, can click on the article of clothing, and can click buy.
Right.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, right.
Let's build that. We can build that together. Of course, you know, like we're going to do this in the next like 25 minutes or something. So I'm not going to get, you know, like I'm not going to be able to like figure out how you do like, you know, like say like the shipping or return policy. But what we can do is we're going to make an app that when people open it up, they're going to be able to click buy on an item. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now the first thing I like to do is so I'm gonna draw it. Well, actually, Greta. Well, yeah, I'm gonna draw it really quickly, and gonna draw it just so I can think of it for myself, and then I'll share it with you. Well, can you guys at least see this other Jamboard if I draw on it, or you weren't
No.
able to see it at all?
We can see it, but you have to share it through the screen so that we can actually record it for the others. Otherwise, they will not be able to see.
Okay.
You know how to share? You present now.
Yeah. No, it's just like it's part of the Google Hangout.
Yeah,
it's like part of it. So yeah, I see up here. It looks like a share button. Present tab to meeting. Okay, my apologies. I wasn't doing that before. Okay, can you see the screen now?
yes.
Yes, loading.
Okay, so let's think about what this is going to take. So here is, let's say this is the home screen. And then up here we'll have like the text of like welcome to the app. And then my thinking is maybe how many things are going to be sold on here, Greta? Is it going to be like thousands of things or like 10 things?
Well, more than I'm not too sure about the number, but I believe it would be more than that for sure. So it would include clothing, yeah, mainly clothing, perhaps shoes as well, but not too sure yet. I only have clothing in mind at the moment.
Okay. Well, to make it easier that we can go farther, let's just have this home page just be a couple boxes of different items that'll be able to be sold. And when you click, oops, this is supposed to be in line, my apologies. But like if you wanted to, you'd probably want to do this as like categories and stuff. And then when you like click one, it'll go to another screen. And then this will be like, you know, this will be another big picture. We can have like some smaller pictures below it. I told you guys I'm a great artist. And then it'll be like information on it. And a big button, hey, no laughing. And a big button.
You are fantastic. I think you are very creative.
I'll use the word creative as meaning something great. No, I mean, like, actually, like, you know, something that I think is important for this is to realize that, you know, sometimes we count ourselves out as being able to, you know, it's like, oh, I can't draw. Like, I'm not going to be remembered in my life as a drawer. But, you know, also, like, I can wireframe enough to kind of get building. So, like, you know, it's like kind of like, it's something that I used to almost like not want to build apps for myself because I was bad at things like this. And it's like, okay, well, you know, I shouldn't use myself as an own barrier. And say what we just did here, this now gives me insight in what needs to be built. So there's going to be a homepage. The homepage is going to have like the name of the app at the top. Then it will be a list of images of different items. Then when you click an image, it's going to go to another page. On that page, there'll be additional images. There'll be some text and then a button for buy. Sounds good?
It looks like a phone.
Well, we're making a web app, so it's going to fit onto the phone, right? So we could also, well, I guess that's a choice actually. I was just going to make it as a phone app, but you can make it as a phone app or like an app for your computer. You can do both, but over the course of this call, well, to make my life easier, let's do it as a phone app because, you know, the challenge with doing an app for it's way easier to make an app for your computer, for your phone, because the screen is smaller. So you don't have to think about as many things. But if you make an app for your computer screen, the computer screen is so much bigger. So you've got to do a lot more thinking about like, you know, what happens on every part of the screen. So for here, we're going to do the mobile version of the app. But, you know, you can also do the computer version too. Okay.
I understand. Can I ask, please? Is that okay? Can I ask? Sorry. So on the left side, the picture, what would this be as a first, as a number one app like a cover picture, and then the following picture which you draw on the right would be the second app page, or why do we have two pictures now?
Yes. So the first page will be like the home page. So when you open
Yes.
the app, this is like so like think of it as like Instagram. On Instagram, you're scrolling through many posts, but then you like a post, you can open it and like see more information with it, right? So this is going to be the one on the left is going to be a couple fashion items, and you can scroll through. We'll make it less like so you can scroll through them, almost like a Pinterest or something. Then when you choose one, it'll open it up and go to the second screen where you can get more information and option to buy. Now, if we wanted to, like, so one of the cool things about Adalo is you're in charge. You can kind of do whatever you want. So say, for example, you could skip the second screen and have the option to buy on the first screen, right? Like you could make you could make a little button like
no, but then it would not be okay.
Like you get the point, but it's your app. So this is why like you have to think about what you want, and it's good to like draw on. Even like, you know, what many people do is before they even start building, they'll like go to their friends or like some like idea of users, and even with a piece of paper, just be like, when you look at this, like, what would you do? Do you know what to do? But 2 seconds, Daisy. But like, you know, there's no right or wrong answer. And what most people will do is something called A/B testing. So what you'll do is you'll build the app the best you can. Then you'll build like another version and you'll share with users and you'll see which ones actually use better. And what you want to do is not predict, but you want to just give your users options and then learn from them and make for them. But we're just going to do something kind of simple here just to show what building looks like. Yes, Daisy?
Okay.
I was just thinking, looking at these pictures you painted, is it something like Etsy?
So yes, because what is Etsy? So Etsy is an online store. And what Greta's like asking us to build is like an online store for like sustainable clothing, right? So like, you know, so exactly. And like, that's like a great example too. So like say, Greta, if you actually want to build this later, well, you could actually start by like looking at Etsy and like thinking about how they did things and then like using their design influence for yourself. So like, you know, a first step might be to like kind of copy Etsy and then make it for yourself after. Does that kind of make sense?
How,
like
do you spell, how do you spell Etsy? I never heard about it.
Oh, no worries. It's ETSY. It's like an app for allowing people to make their own micro stores.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, so now I'm going to share another tab somehow. So now we've got the design basically done. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to build the database. Now, databases are sometimes like people like find them kind of scary. So what a database is so when you're building technology, you need to store information somewhere. And what you have is something called the front end. The front end is what you see with your eyes and how something looks. Then you also have to have what's called the back end, which is your database where the information lives. So for example, when you go to like say Facebook knows who you are. It logs you in and gives you a different experience than for other users because it's pulling your information only. So you need to have the information stored somewhere, almost like it's like, you know, like a drawer, so that when you want to pull, when it's being called on, you only grab that specific information. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a simple database for the fashion app, Greta's fashion app. Oh, Greta.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to, just in the interest of time, I'm going to give some examples, then you'll tell me if there's anything I'm missing. So for sure, I can see there being two databases. There's going to be a user database, and this is going to be like the user who's coming, right? So this is going to be their name their email address. Maybe do we want a picture of themselves? Maybe that's too invasive. Really, it's just their name and their email address. Then on the other side, we're going to have the fashion items. So this will be the name of the item, the price. Now, do we want to have one picture or do we want to have many pictures of each item?
Well, I think more pictures is better than one.
Okay, so then we'll have a third database, which will be pictures. And the picture will be the image itself and the article of clothing, the fashion item, it belongs to. And then this will have the pictures. And what we'll also have to have is shopping cart. So it's shopping cart, because so somebody's gonna be able to buy it. It'll be go into the shopping cart. Or let's just make it easy. For this, we're just gonna have it actually be bought by. So items bought. Bought by. Okay, is there anything critical I'm forgetting now for this very simple one? Basically, we're gonna have someone who's got a name and an email address, and they're going to be able to buy articles of clothing, which has a name and a price. And that article of clothing will be having pictures associated with it. And when someone buys it, the system will remember if they've bought it. Is there anything we're forgetting here?
Yeah, quantity, colors, material, sizes.
So we can do all those. Say quantities, colors, sizes.
Size.
Okay.
Material could be made from several different, same model made of different materials, for example, linen and or hemp. And the client can choose either one. And then the price would be different price as well. So I think more options to choose, it's better, no?
Yeah. Okay, well, let's do it. Okay, so let's actually start making an app now. So let me share another tab. Okay, so the service I use, it's called Adalo. For me, it was like awesome because it like is the tool like before I started working with Adalo, I was an Adalo maker, and it's the tool that's been best for me for picking up to learn. But don't feel like you have to use this one. There's other platforms, for example, like Bubble. But for me, Adalo is the one that the visual language was unlocked my capacity to build. We have a free option, so anybody can just try and get started. And I'm actually just going to like show you the exact process that I would do. So I'll sign up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call this like a female switch at email.com. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I'm Barrett with you guys. And
we don't actually see the screen where you sign up. We're just at the homepage. It's only sharing that.
Oh, really? Let me take a look what it, because sorry, it popped me to a next page when I clicked it. Okay, can you see it now? Okay, so this is the first screen. So are we going to make a native mobile app or a desktop web app? So basically like desktop web app is like, do you want to make it this way? Mobile is, do you want to make it this way? Right? And for this version, we're going to do it as the mobile app. But like in effect, when you actually want to make something more advanced, you probably want to do both. But we're just going to start with the native mobile app. And Adalo is actually really great, where it gives us these different templates to work from. And if you want, like, it's a great way to get started is actually open a template and like see how they built. They're kind of like, example apps. But for ourselves, we're going to be blank. We're just going to start with a blank one. We'll call it Greta's fashion app. And let's do 2 colors to get going. What Greta, what colors do you want your app to be? Primary color,
Blue.
secondary?
I don't
Okay.
like either of them. I like navy, dark blue. If it's like no darker. If you yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what about the secondary color?
Maybe yellow also looks quite good. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we're perfect. Okay, so this is the Adalo Editor. So this is what we build everything in. So this space here in the middle is where we have different pages. And you see there's already 3 pages. There's a sign up, a login, and a home. We could make these ourselves, but Adalo wants us to kind of just get going off to the races. So it lets us start with these, but like, that's just to kind of like, like we could make these ourselves, not do anything special. On the top, this is where we choose our different apps. So if we had many apps, we go here. Over on the left is where the magic really happens. So the plus is where we can add more screens or add components. I'm just going to do a quick interview. A component is like what goes on the page. So like say when we start doing pictures of the products, we'll grab the image, we'll just drop it on. We can choose our colors and our fonts. This is just another way of seeing the screens when you have many screens. Here's the database. This is actually, we're going to start coming in a moment. Then just like settings, like, if you want to publish it, this is where you actually publish it for. So like what you can come from here is you can actually get a file that you can put into Google Play or Apple's App Store that is your app. And then down here is where you can see like the users in your app. So what we're going to actually start with to start cleanly is we're going to make the database first. So what we had in our, and this is because as we're building, we're going to be like, it's like our tools in the drawer we have available. So like we need to have them ready to go first. So we had 2 databases. We had users and fashion, 3 databases. Users, fashion items, and pictures. So users, fashion items, and pictures. And by the way, we've got like a really great academy for Adalo too, so don't feel like you need to be like mastering anything now. But we've got lots of like these follow along and build courses. So if this is interesting to you, like I would definitely just suggest you start to follow along and build.
You could advise us with the courses you mentioned. I would be interested.
Yeah, I've even already sent
Yes, and actually already uploaded. So if you guys go to Skill Lab, the Adalo module, you will find what Barrett is talking about. There's a PDF there that mentions all the courses, and we've also already pre-selected a few of those for you to get started with. So there's plenty for you to do.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is all on Skill Lab, right? Skill Lab, and then I did not.
The Adalo, you go to the digital modules. And then there you find the Adalo module. You open it, start learning, and you will be bombarded with a lot of stuff.
Hopefully not too much stuff. Okay. So what we've done is we've made the user right now. So we've got an email, a password, a username, and a full name. Adalo pre-selects these. So like I actually normally wouldn't do a username and a full name, but that's okay. Then what we need, is the fashion item. So what's in the fashion item? This is going to be the name of the item. So the name of the item. It's going to be the price. So price is a number. And we'll have, so pictures are going to be linked to the picture database. I'll show you how to do this in a moment. But we can do, we actually already got pictures. So we got pictures, but pictures we're not having to, so if we want to have multiple pictures, we're going to do it by creating a link between 2 databases. And we're going to do this when you link between databases. So like databases are kind of like a Microsoft Excel. And like Microsoft Excel or a Google Sheet is an example of a simple database. But sometimes you want to be able to like have different sheets talking together. So say, for example, a user can buy many fashion items. So if we want to keep track in the fashion items, though, like a change in the fashion items could be a change in what the user has bought, right? So we'll link them together. So what we'll do is we'll create a property, and it's a relationship. And this is one of the hardest things, so don't like focus on this too much now, but it's just really like something you just got to do to practice with. So this is going to be items the user bought. So it's the user. We're going to make a relationship to the items. And a fashion item can be bought by multiple users? No. It's a fashion item. A user can buy multiple fashion items. Yes, that's correct. Let me think about it for a second. A fashion item can only have one user. No. A user can have multiple. See, even myself, I get confused on this. Let me do it the other way around. It's like you just have to like think about it. Okay, a user can have multiple fashion items. A fashion item belongs to one user. It's gonna be this third one, because so a user can buy many items, right? And an item can be bought by many users. So it's going to be many to many. But then for pictures, the relationship with pictures, a fashion item can have multiple pictures, right? There can be many pictures of the same dress, but for a picture, it only belongs to one fashion item. A picture wouldn't belong to multiple fashion items. Okay, so now we have I know that's a little bit tricky. Don't worry about it too much right now. That's like
very fast. That's why. If you would give us a moment to think, then I think I would understand. Now I just agree because you say it so.
Well, and even myself, because like I'm doing this app for the first time. So, okay, let's do it again a little bit slower. So let's do it with pictures, because pictures is kind of an easier example. Okay, so let me delete this. So what we're doing is, so every fashion item has pictures with it, right?
Yes.
But the app, this like Adalo, it doesn't do anything except what we tell it to do. So that's where it's like different than like Wix or WordPress or something. It only like what you build only comes from you. Every single thing happens from you. So if we're saying that we're making fashion items, that's like a database we made. And if a fashion item is going to have multiple pictures showing it, then we need to make that happen. So
yes.
So we need to link the picture of the fashion item to that fashion item. So there's going to be a relationship between when we add a picture to this, it needs to be linked to that fashion item, right?
So yes, so the fashion, the first item which you would select, let's suppose it would be a blue dress, which would be linked to yellow dress and orange dress. This is what you are talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's more like you choose like, dress, and then there'd be pictures of it of red dress, green dress, yellow dress.
Yes, but of the same model.
So again, it's your choice. So like my thinking here was that you might want to show like, okay, so like there's different ways to think of this. So there's also like the front of the dress, the back of the dress, right?
Yes.
So like for me, I was kind of thinking like that, but you could also be having, so.
No, I was thinking not like that. I would like to have, let's say, as I said, 3 different dresses of the same model, just different colors. So for example, dress in blue, dress in yellow, dress in orange. So let's say the first dress on the main screen to select, it would be blue dress. Then once you open the app, open the picture, you would have an option to choose, let's say on the right hand side, that there is also yellow and orange, and then you click on it and the screen brings takes you the yellow, and then when you click on orange, brings the orange dress. That all would be the same dresses, just different colors, perhaps different models as well, as people are different. So I think it would be also better to have different people on different clothing. So then you can see what you like more, or what is more suitable for each individual.
Sure, I think that makes sense. And what you're saying is like, like you're starting to think like a product designer. That's good. And like those are the sort of things like, really when you have ideas like that, you should like write it down and think. You have to kind of start thinking about how you'd achieve some of those things. And what I'll say is like, I don't think we're going to be able to hit we're not going to create a finished product on this call today, but like you're starting to think the right questions, and like what you just described is something that you could build in here. And that's
I know.
cool.
That's why I go to my favorite fashion websites, and I follow what they do, and then I copy them. Well, I'm not copying, but at least I have an idea of the most famous designers, what they do, and I think I can follow them as well and have a similar idea.
Well, and from that same insight, what you could also do is you can go to your favorite like websites, your favorite stores, and you can kind of like, copy what they do. It's not a bad thing to copy. It's like, kind of like exchanging best practices. Yeah. But instead of just doing it for the clothes themselves, like copy the whole like experience, right? Because then you can think about it and go like, okay, like how do they set up the page? How do they choose these things? Because like, say right now, I'll tell you like where I'm getting stuck in my head when I'm thinking of building this is say we want to show colors and we want to show front and back. I'm trying to think about how it would be visualized in my wireframe having both those options. And for sure I can do it, but I'd want to like feel like that I'm making it as good as possible for the user. So what I would maybe do is I would go to Amazon and I would go take a look at what Amazon did and then go, oh, that makes sense. Then I'd copy that. But for now, we're just gonna make something very simple. And what we're focusing on right now is, so let's say.
Why would I go to Amazon? Just because Amazon has good examples of the products they sell there, and it's good to copy from them?
For example, like it's good to like, also like this like company.
I was thinking more like ASOS than Amazon.
Yeah, you could totally do that. Like ASOS is a good example as well, or Shine, for example. It's your choice. But what you want to do is like, like basically it's like you want to benefit from the insights of what others have already done. So instead of starting, and you can also do that as well. Like, like don't be limited in your creativity, but like, if you go to ASOS, for sure you can go like, okay, like even like, let's take a look at what the ASOS screen looks like.
White and black, if I'm thinking about the same. ASOS app is white and black, no?
I don't know that. I've literally never been here before in my life, but we're going to figure this out.
If I'm thinking about the same company.
The branding is black and white, Greta, but they do use a lot of graphics, like
and a lot of red.
You're immediately loads of graphics and colors. Clearly.
Okay, guys, we're going to go through this kind of quickly.
But ASOS is a very well-known app, so it's good to copy them because everybody knows them already.
So we only have about 15 minutes left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the ASOS page. I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and then like it's kind of like you can kind of like take it from there. But also like you've got all these resources. The goal of today isn't to master this. It's to introduce to the fact that you yourselves can be technology builders who build things like this. So what I'm going to do is I've taken a screenshot of the ASOS homepage. I'm just going to put it in here so that we can see it. Come on. Come on, internet. Come on. Okay.
Not working.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want this stuff at the top, so I'm going to start with that. Okay. So this is going to get me going. So first we're going to have a bar. This bar is going to be, let's make it even like the same colors. So, oh, this is coming from here. So we're going to change your color to fit the ASOS style, which is kind of like dark. Okay.
Black and
The
yeah.
title, and let's call it.
But when you, and then I think, I personally look at the blue color, it makes me think more creative. So I think when people think about clothing, they want to be creative with themselves, no? For example, then at least me personally as a woman, then I choose, I think I want to be creative, and blue color makes our imagination, push our imagination to think, to, so maybe something could relate. The color affects our brain like that, no? What do you think, people, ladies and gentlemen?
I would like to intervene and say that, yeah, let's just learn how to build things, and we can have a discussion on colors anytime. Otherwise, we will not finish this, and Barrett will never come back.
I mean, I'm having fun. I'm just, it's interesting. Like, I don't know. I like appreciate the questions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the background with a color that is like a gradient, but it's not going to be the exact one there. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to very quickly, I'm going to make it kind of like look-ish like this one. Okay, there's my example of a gradient. Now, what we have here is a series. So let's make this even easier. So we're going to put a button. This is going to be our sale button. And I guess it should be a bit more rounded. And in fairness, it is white. So let's make it white. And it doesn't have this. Okay, pretty close. Now, might as well put the text to keep it correct. Up to 80% off. Final reductions on. And the don't miss out is smaller, so I'll make it smaller. So this is big. Let's make it 32. Is that too big? No, I think it's okay. We'll make it something bold. Oh, it's even bolder than that. Make it extra bold. We could change the font if we wanted to, but I'm just going to stick with what's here. Don't note, but that's small. 12. Okay, now, okay, we're starting to get somewhere here, right? It's starting to look a little bit like this. I appreciate in a different interpretation. Now, what we have at the bottom is a horizontal list of clothing images. So what we'll do is we'll just put in a list, and it's going to be card. No, that's not the right one. It's going to be a horizontal card list, so that we'll be able to like swipe right with our fingers. And this is going to be a list of the fashion items. I'm going to be lazy just looking at the time. So I'm actually going to delete this and have the picture be inside the file, just because I'm only going to have a single picture for it for now. Again, I know I'm going quite fast. That's okay. And we're also recording this. But the goal is by the time this call is over, that we've got like basically this one done. Now, could somebody help me out? Could you guys, well, I guess I can do this. Okay. What I need is a couple of fashion pictures. So I'm going to zoom in on here and just grab these ones themselves. Okay. So now I'm going to try to scroll out, but I'm stuck. Huh, that's an interesting issue. My mouse is not doing what I expect. So I'm going to put in a couple fashion items. So I'll do summer dress. Sure, one. This one. I guess it's this one. That's one item in my database. Then we'll do other dress price 49. Then, so what right now I'm like putting in a couple items, but like you as the store owner could put in as many. You could even make another app just to be putting these in. Dress. My so I'm gonna dress. Okie dokie. So we're going to have this be a list of the fashion items. The image is going to be the picture. And then we'll have the text at the bottom be the name. And okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna test this out for a second, actually. Okay, do you guys have your phones in front of you?
Sure, of course.
Okay,
No.
try. Well, here I'll share this on the so you can scan this QR code with your phone, or you can click the link. But I'm also gonna just.
Are you sharing this there on WhatsApp? No.
I'm sharing it in the Google Hangout, but you can also just follow my screen. So like this is what it's going to look like. Sorry, I'm getting lost. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm doing a preview. So as you're building, you test as you build. So like this is like an actual functioning app. I'm going to make a user account for it. Here I'm signed up. And then here's the app we've actually been building. You can see that it actually has these in it. Now, right now, when I click them, nothing happens because I didn't tell it to do that. But if I go back here, if I go back here, and if I have like an option when you, I've got to think of where the option is. Okay, when you click the image, you'll link to a new page, a new screen, image info. Okay, that'll be here. And what we can do is we can be having the name.
Hi, can you
Hi.
go back to the other screen,
Oh.
please?
Yes, my apologies.
Thank you.
Okay, let me do that step again. So what we want is when you click an image, it opens up more information on that image. So we'll click the list. We'll add an action. It's an action that happens when you click the image. I'll go to a new screen. Image information. Sure, we can have an app bar because app bars are nice. We'll bring this over. And then it can be the name of the item, current fashion's name, and the picture. And then like if you go back and watch here on this other tab, so right now, this is when you click the picture, it doesn't do anything. But when I refresh this, because I've made this change, when I click the picture, it brings me to the information on that. So that's what we just made right there. You see? Okay, guys, we only got like 5 minutes left. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you our App Academy and like kind of like just describe some courses that might be good for you. Or actually,
Really?
that's already in your, so I'm going to open it up. But instead, we've got a couple of minutes. What questions do you kind of have for me? I know this is a little bit overwhelming. My apologies.
Yeah.
If I could do it again, I might not have done the fashion app just because I think that it made it, I should have like done something I just kind of like knew how to do to kind of go you through it. But I think it's useful to show the creative process. But like really like the kind of, if the only goal from this was that you're aware that you can build things yourself, and you can build things yourself, then all you really need to do is just start teaching yourself. And I really believe that like anybody can build technology. It's like something that is universal. So let me stop
If you
sharing.
are interested in the technologies.
Well, I mean, for me, like, it's my belief that it's not if you're interested in technology or not. Like, I think technology is just in the world around us. And to me, it's like, it's not about thinking as like technology is the other, but rather that technology can be, it's like female switch, right? You're using a technology platform to teach yourself as entrepreneurs, but you didn't necessarily need to, it's not really a technology company, it's a employment empowerment company. But it doesn't make sense to like not use technology, because like it's like deciding to build a house without nails. It's
Or you can have people to help you out to do that for you, or
well,
with you.
I mean, that is true. But like, what I'll
But then
say,
you
like,
need to pay.
experience has kind of taught me is that,
This is right.
like I think that point that you could need someone to help you, well, it might just be easier to do it yourself, because then you're in control and you shouldn't be scared of it. Yes, Mariek?
Sorry. Hi. So first of all, this looks really cool, and something that I can actually master very quickly also. So I'm very enthusiastic. Thank you for taking us through the whole story. I had a question about plugins. I'm sure I can find a lot of it in the fora or in the learning library that you have. But maybe you can say something about security and server space and how that works when I use this app.
Sure. So let me say to a couple of those points. So for one, in Adalo, we have a components marketplace. So like many of our users have expanded the functionality of Adalo by making additional components. So like, say, for example, if you wanted to make like like pull a YouTube video in, like it's really easy to do. And it's almost like a useful mental exercise to just scroll from top to bottom through all the components just to see what's there. But then you're also not limited to what's in Adalo. So Adalo is able to be, so to me, like the future of technology is something called APIs. APIs are access point integrations. And what they're about is like, it used to be like the idea like that you build all technology for yourself. But it's kind of like a waste of time, because like say when you open up an app and it's a map, it's Google Maps, right? Because why would someone start from the beginning again? So like even to a point like this, like, like if you're going to like be building an online shop, well, maybe you'll want to like use like Shopify or something, right? Now, many APIs happen in the background. You don't even know they're there. And Adalo can link you automatically, like you can do direct links to APIs, but there's also these services, like you could go take a look at one called Zapier, or there's another one called Integromat. And what you can use is almost like use Adalo as like a hub to go directly to these other platforms. So for example, there's just a great example of an app that uses Adalo and Zapier for doing using artificial intelligence for telling if a plant is poisonous or not poisonous. So there's a no-code artificial intelligence platform called Peltarion. And what they do is they have a database like, is a plant poisonous? It looks like this. Is a plant not poisonous? Then you take a picture with an Adalo app. It's a really app to build. It just takes a picture. It uses the Zapier API to push the picture to Peltarion, then matches that picture against their AI database and sends back the answer. Pretty cool. It'll take you like 20 minutes to make, right?
I think I know that one, yeah.
Yes. Now to your final point on
Sorry.
final point on security, well, like security, there's two sides to this. There's about how secure is Adalo, like we take security very seriously, but then there's also realizing that you're in the driver's seat with the app you build. So say, for example, if you take privacy, if you want to not take privacy issues seriously, there's nothing to stop you from not doing that, except, the relationship you prize with your users. But you can take privacy as seriously as you want. And it's, like some apps don't need privacy. Some apps need to be extremely secure, but you as the app builder. So you're the person who actually builds the privacy yourself. So if someone comes to you and goes like, what is the level of privacy? It's not for you to go to Adalo and go like, what's the level of privacy? On some things, sure, like how do we, like store our databases and stuff. But like say for an example of, are users able to delete their data? Well, did you build a button in the app saying delete the data? And like an example is like, so like say in Facebook, when you delete a message, it still stays saved, right? It doesn't actually delete it. It just changed the status to like hidden. Well, you could build that in Adalo that way too. So it's really a choice for you. And security is a challenging thing to build for. So like it is like one of the things to kind of be mindful of it and be aware of. And my suggestion would be don't make the first app, like if you're going to do an app, make a first one just be something simple. Like the first app I built was like a family album capture for my mother, where she would like take pictures of physical family photos to like upload them. Like start something simple and kind of grow from there.
Good point. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any final questions?
Well, while they're thinking, letting them know in the chat that they can get a few months of Adalo for free from us, and Make as well. This is the ex-Integromat, they changed their name. So it's ideal that they can play around with both of them and to actually build something that can connect the Adalo apps via Make to something else.
For sure. So like say with like Make is super cool. It's very visual as well. Okay, guys, I've got to hop because we're just like at Adalo right now. It's just a busy day with this like interview stuff that made me late for you. And I'm, now I have to go edit the interview. And they've asked me very nicely if we can finish it before the end of day today, America time, which basically means that I'm gonna be working till like 2 a.m. European time. So I'm going to go get into that. But I'm around. I'm happy to help. And like, really like Adalo, like, it's an amazing thing to be able to use technology as a tool. And if you've got ideas, it's great to like not just talk about it, but just go and build something. And I think our tutorials and our academy is really great to learn from. And I'm also around too. So like, like for sure, feel free to email me directly, but be warned, some things I'll, hey, interesting. But before you, like, be warned that much of the information I might direct to you will be to resources that have already been made, because some of our resources are so great. I'm not going to try to like capture that in a 5-minute response. Instead, I'll direct you towards it. Okay. Thank you guys for this time. And I think what your project is super cool. And like really like, like often technology is considered like a man's game, but I think that's like kind of like BS. And like, it's really about not being afraid of these tools. And a lot of like existing tools are not friendly. It's like, like they're designed by like 17-year-old, American male teenagers for other 17-year-old male teenagers. But, this is kind of like a 0 day. So like, I will tell you that if you're using Adalo, you're part of being a pioneer of a new form of software development. And, instead of having the world defined by Californian teenagers, you can make, like you can make anything. Okay, guys, have a nice day.
Thank you. Barrett, thanks a lot. Yeah. If ladies, you have any questions, we can stay for a few minutes.
That was so awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I really love these workshops from Bubble and from Adalo, because it's not in the end about building a certain app, right? It's about you flipping, like I say, the way you think. From like, and this was a perfect example, right? Where with Greta coming in and saying, "Hey, I want a fashion app. I didn't think what it should do, but I have this vision in my head." And then how to translate that vision into something that a computer understands, right? With front end, back end, and the connection between those. So this is, of course, something that non-technical people don't think about, but these are exactly the tools that will allow you to practice that and to switch that design thinking. And yes, Greta, you did say that it's easier to hire someone to do this for you. But remember one thing, to be able to explain to them what it is that you want so that they can actually build something that you want, you have to be able to speak their language at least a bit, right? So, and this is, once again, the perfect tool. So like, to understand what a front end is and what a back end is, you will be able to do this after you've played around with this. And to understand the logical connections between, what happens if I click that button? What happens then, right? So I'm ready to advertise those tools a lot. And we are actually going to hopefully build the mobile version of Female Switch using Adalo. So I'm gonna let you know what our experience is with them, because for now we've just been playing around. Hopefully it will work out, because then of course we will use Make to connect Bubble to Adalo, and everything should work nicely. Well, let me stop recording then before I forget. Yeah.